We're good to go.
Good, good. First, just welcome everybody and let's call this finance committee meeting to order. Our first thing we need to do is review the financials. I think, did everybody get these before? Okay, I mean, then balance sheet and stay pretty consistent, and then, you know, you look at the income statement, the expenses, you know, really nothing out of the ordinary, the labor, the fees, rent, the insurance. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary. So like I said, I mean, I don't see any reason. If anybody have any questions about these numbers? If not, is there a motion to? There a second? Is there any other discussion? All in favor? I guess really, I mean, did I need to get the minutes from the last meeting approved? I think those are something about that. Not really.
No.
Or we're gonna let you talk about the movie training.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairperson. In the handout packet for today's meeting was the information and the invoice from both Valor Insights and Olive Branch Solutions. They are the two contractors that we've been talking to about providing the training services to the board. Remember, at one of our previous meetings, I indicated that Dr. Prater had assisted us in identifying appropriate trainings for us. So these two organizations were identified. They are affiliated with the University of Louisville. They've not only done work for the university, training, etc., but they are couple are on the faculty there. Valor Insights, the two principals are Hispanic, husband and wife team. Also Olive Branch, they're an African American training team, and one of the principals, Diane Woodbine, is a resident of the Chickasaw Neighborhood, which I think is particularly valuable. Both of the principals at Olive Branch are also on staff at the University of Louisville, and they have also had extensive experience in providing the training services. Valor's focus would be on the finance component, the board responsibilities and roles, etc. And Olive Branch is going to focus on the outreach and stakeholder engagement part of the training. But you see all of that outlined in the material that they have forwarded. Each is requesting $5,000 as payment for the training. And the training is going to be this is the 23rd. I think those dates are already on your calendar. Rita has sent those to everybody. It's 2 Saturdays in June. So this time, I'm asking approval to pay the invoices for both Valor Insights and Olive Branch Consulting. Prior to the workshops, they're going to be doing some interviewing of board members, particularly those who are chairing committees. Most groups will. So they need kind of green light to be on the clock so they can start those interviews, incorporate those concerns from folks in advance of the training.
Are they providing a interview or is that on us?
Currently, we are looking to have training at Bayer. Bayer has community facilities that they extend to nonprofit organizations to use their facilities for training. They don't charge anything for the space. They make the space available free. You can have lunch and you can cater, and you would take on the expense of lunch and refreshments. There is where the old PNC Bank used to be at Fifth and Jefferson. So it's down to. Now Rita and I did look at a number of facilities prior to focusing in on Bailey. And the difficulty with most of the other facilities was their audio visual, when the people who could not be in person would have tremendous difficulty beaming in the way we're accustomed to doing. We did not have projection facilities so that we could put turning materials up and provide they have a garage, and they typically, if you're in the training, you get to park in the garage at no cost. So, but today, the only request is permission to pay the $5,000 each for each of the two training.
I mean, from a standpoint of what I've seen, I mean, this seems pretty reasonable. I think it looks real well.
They each had a provision with, for expenses for a while, and that's to make sure. They want other things like banking or meals, and other stuff.
No, we're taking that.
Motion.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a motion. Is there a second? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Okay, thank you.
That's good.
That will help us to accomplish one of our main statutory objectives.
Let me ask something too, there, have we already let Barry know the date?
Yes,
Okay, so we did that from the standpoint of being available.
they know what dates we're looking, so. Wait to hear that. That's what. If they, if the dates, yeah, they're thinking that since it's on a Saturday, they should not. Be a problem. People will typically be there with the day.
All right.
Except for the poor staff at Bear, that has to come out Saturday.
I know that guy there, but if it's not, it's a bad draw. All right, moving right along, the financial advisor contract. Amy, man, you did a lot of work on this. You want to talk about this before I add what I wanted to say? Okay, well, Amy did work on this, and I think everybody got the agreement that they had, and we kind of knew what they would be, charging us, and we have the expertise of the individuals. Amy, you there?
I'm there. Sorry, I was muted, so I was looking for the unmute button.
Oh, that's
So-
okay. I know you worked on this. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, this was the scope of work that Baird came up with that we massaged only a tiny bit. They felt like this was a fair description of the services they intended to provide, but that was still broad enough to give us all the flexibility to do what we needed to do in the short term. I know we discussed this at the board meeting the last time, but it does have a 30-day termination term that either party can invoke. So we're not stuck with this arrangement long term if we're unhappy with it and don't think Baird is working out. So I think it's a pretty good deal. Also know the board also requested to know who was going to be working on the engagement for the money that we're paying. And that has been provided to you as well. And that's the team that will be available to be called on as needed.
So you look at those, I mean, everybody pretty much knew the scope and the fee, the team. I'm not gonna be, one of the things that I am gonna challenge Chip and Bear to do, I would like to see some people of color, on the team. I think that, I may have a conversation with him before. I think that, we did, so I don't know, when they helped us out with the agreement, there was somebody there. Somebody may have moved on, but, sensitive to that, because we definitely want to be, creating, opportunities where, like I said, we want diversity. But as far as having the best, advisor, I do think that they are positioned to help us based upon their experience and their knowledge, to definitely help us get to where we can get to.
Clarification, so we're approving it as a committee and then writing it.
Yes.
On Monday.
Yes.
So basically, we would be recommending approval to the board, for the board to approve.
And the same for the training. That will be coming out of this committee.
I don't think this committee is going to approve anything for the board. But I mean, I think we can say that, you know, we work on it.
Ahead of the board, but we're not gonna be. They're contingent on the overall approval of the board.
So is there an approval to recommend there to the full board member?
I make a motion that we recommend Barry to the board. To move forward with the stipulations that you do ask about the diversity of the team.
I'll definitely gonna do it, I promise you. I'm not checking that out. Sorry. Second. Is there, any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, ballot number 9-9.
Remember the last time we were together, we gave the authority, for us to engage Tony Lee to do the 990, and we have done that, to work on the 990. But I wanted to say that she has asked for an additional extension, which has been granted. That she wanted to make sure that she had appropriate notes, et cetera.
When do we anticipate her?
The extension, routine one would be October, but it would be filed prior to that,
Does she have,
within the next month.
okay, she has,
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that she met the May 15th extension deadline.
No, which is why she is prior to May 15th. I had a discussion with
Okay,
her.
so do the extension.
So,
right.
Okay.
she
Well,
got
maybe do it on the personal too, but that, you know, yeah, but I just want to make sure that we're not putting it off until October,
you know,
that this will be done, you know, hopefully that's why her estimated time for her to be able to, I think she said 30,
it's a month.
36,
Max.
right?
And it may not even be.
What is she saying? She is needing like what more information?
Specifically on the year-end financials. There were two columns that she believed we needed to be able to explain. Remember, in each of our monthly financials, it's showing the board, the organization having a little over $30 million. In the year-end financials, it indicates that there's $5 million in unrealized income and $25 million in assets. So we need some verbiage to reconcile those two so that the public, when looking at the document, will understand that we do in fact have $30 million in the bank. The $5 million in unrealized income, she said, is based, and she reads the end of the year financials, it's based on the fact that for one of the grant holders, there were some conditions, some performance conditions on the grant. So we just need to come up with some language, and rather than her trying to make up something out of whole cloth, she said, if we pause, got an extension, and offer those, reach an agreement about it, and the narrative, it would make it better. It would be an upfront explanation to the public so that they would not read it and have some questions that they don't.
The question.
So she thinks it's in our best interest to have a narrative when we file that explains the difference between those two things. Yes, which is also the reason why she says, even though the routine extension is October, that it will be maximum of a month, like less than a month before we be filed. She just wants to be comfortable, us to be comfortable with the state. Right. That's right.
That's the main.
Right. I respect that, yeah.
Yeah, and she's pretty experienced and pretty bright woman. So
Do they have any invoices or?
at the end of the project,
No,
no invoice.
she said, I mean, I guess we got that for 3,000. She think that this will cause it to be higher.
No.
Okay. It shouldn't be. So that's what we. that's-
Yeah, it's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
She doesn't submit it to the
$3,000.
I think that's what.
And I have great confidence.
That's just, she's very, yeah.
That, we don't need even approvals for that, that's just kind of information.
Yes, that's just information. And it's just a matter of us communicating with Tony. I would say that as chair of the finance committee, something you and Otis can collaborate on. This. And then I'll, whatever you can do, comfortable drafting, that's just a matter of giving that to a person.
We just need to make sure we get with Otis and make sure we get what she needs.
He will.
Okay. Um.
Huh.
Anybody else have anything? I mean, you got any updates, anything? Give us a little bit.
No additional updates for the finance. So, there'll be somebody for it.
I had a question, I was trying to look it up before I asked it. Do we have to do the annual report this year? You know, business have an annual report.
There is a report schedule that's specified in the statute. I don't think it rules it in.
Talking about the, talking to the secretary.
Yeah. I don't know, like, we are,
I don't think we can, because you created under statute, and the statute specifies the schedule for our report, and it also specifies to whom the report should be submitted.
yeah.
Well, we would certainly get, Amy, Amy to clarify that.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so I think that we would be, we're not an LLC or special feature of statute, right? I don't see anything.
Just make sure whatever we got, if there's something that needs to be done, we. can
Yeah,
do that.
we can find that out. If you name it, use.
Well, so I'll double check
Definitive
this.
statement
Yeah,
before the board meeting.
yeah, you don't currently have a registry that I see.
Okay,
But I'll double check. Amy also says she'll make sure she has resolutions for you for the payment.
okay, that's great.
For Monday.
Any other? Good, thank you.
The documents for the training and banner go out to everybody else.
No, because this committee has to approve it first, and then it will be part of the, it will go to them. For
I
them.
haven't got to that.
Yeah,
I think it was
there was a board meeting packet that did go out, but these items were not. Because they had not gone through this. But I said, there was a report on there from the finance committee, but the documents themselves did not go on. Because this committee hadn't formally said anything.
But you want a copy of it? Or-
Yeah, he's asking if it's gonna go to the full board. And it will now, but this committee has said yes, otherwise it would just be him. seeing what the committee did. Okay.
You gotta read me too much. When it comes to the fee, do we need to vote on? I know we have to present it to the board, if they have to, do we have to vote on the $2,500 per month now? That way, we don't have to wait until after we get that.
Well, we just,
What we did,
Just-
we voted to recommend that we pick up.
Was it the amount?
the motion was to approve the contract.
Okay, which is
And that
included in
amount
the
is
contract.
in-
$2,000.
I just didn't wanna
Yeah,
miss
but-
that, and then we have to wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
While we're on that topic, so I mean, I suspect that we'll have some stuff outside of that agreement. For the, I mean, I assume they're okay waiting on our cycle for. Any matters we get a process for the approval of those.
Right now,
Amy typically will be the resolutions.
Yeah, you'll have
You'll
like
say
a
that you'll-
continue, yeah, you have a continuing resolution for monthly payments.
That 30, that 10, we know. What's their typical
That's true.
expectation on.
nothing.
They-
My expectations will work. with us.
They'll do whatever.
Yeah, they,
They could recommend that we change something.
I mean,
I mean, I don't recollect if there's anything in the document that says about what time you have to pay.
No. But typically, like I said, my experience with them, the way we did it, that what we got a month for each finance. Give me a check now, you know.
I figured that, yeah. That would work for us, and that should work for them. Not a, mom and pop.
Yeah.
They have the cash, let me cover.
Yeah.
That stuff for a month or so.
Yeah.
But, I suspect, you know, we're gonna. The 25 might be a little low. We're gonna have other stuff. that Probably gonna add on. Nobody thought of it. Yeah.
You ready to ask about the diversity? Because that's gonna come up, I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm probably gonna have a good conversation about that. Before the meeting.
I know it's Friday.
Well, if. I didn't want them here today because I didn't know how this would be now. I would like for Bear to be there Monday.
And
So since we've recommended such this question. And I probably will let him know that, hey, this is, we need to, you know, address. Something, let him know, you know, that's that, like I said, I think that. Is important, so we'll just say, I mean. If not anything, else, nothing, you got nothing else, Lauren, you good? Really, we good? No? What'd you say?
She said as far as I know.
Oh, yeah, I think that-
Okay.
Got the motion to adjourn, or can we?
I think it's a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right, we adjourned.
Everybody should text Dr. Craig. He's gonna show up at 4:30.
Yeah,
Did you hear that, Rita? The text, just
Dr.
text
Craddock.
Dr. Craddock and tell him we have adjourned. In case he's thinking of still joining. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good meeting.
Thank you. Rita. Somehow your sound is cutting out, I'm afraid. But we can read your lips. Okay.
A little muzzly, but we'll
there
see
we
how
go.
the recording goes.
Okay,
Okay.
now I can hear you. Okay.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Have a safe
Bye-bye,
trip back. Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye.
And just wait.